All right, today we're putting on our detective hats. We've managed to get our hands on the technical plan for a massive, citywide surveillance system. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to decode it, together, piece by piece. So here it is. This is our puzzle for today, the official technical blueprint for the IP-based video surveillance system in Bareilles City. Now, this looks complicated, right? But don't worry. To make sense of it all, we're going to approach it like we're studying the anatomy of a living thing. We'll start with its eyes, the cameras, then we'll move to the brain, its nervous system, and finally, we'll see where the humans fit into this whole picture. Okay, so let's dive right in with the most obvious part of any surveillance system, its eyes. This is all about the camera infrastructure, the actual network of lenses spread all over the city, watching and capturing everything that goes on. And wow, this system has a really diverse set of eyes. The plan lays out 5 of these fixed dome cameras, a whopping 25 bullet-type cameras, 4 PTZ, that stands for pan, tilt, and zoom cameras, and even 4 super powerful 4K UHD cameras. Each one of these has a very specific job to do, which gives the whole system this incredibly comprehensive range of vision. Now, what I think is really interesting here is what this chart tells us about their strategy. See that? Out of 38 total cameras, 25 of them are bullet cameras. That tells you the system is laser-focused on monitoring specific, fixed spots. Think key intersections or the front of important buildings. Meanwhile, those more flexible PTZ and the super high-res 4K cameras, they're brought in for more dynamic situations or when you need to see some serious detail. Okay, so the city's eyes are watching 24/7. But where does all of that video, all that information actually go? Well, that brings us to the next part of our anatomy lesson, the digital brain, the place where all this data gets processed and stored. And the core of this brain is built with some seriously heavy-duty hardware. We're talking 2 VMS, that's Video Management System servers, 1 VA, or Video Analytics server, and 1 FRS server, which stands for Facial Recognition System. And to make sure it remembers everything it sees, it's got this massive RAID storage system. These machines are really doing all the heavy lifting, the thinking and the remembering. And when I say remembering, I am not kidding. The system is designed with 87.2 terabytes of storage. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that is an absolutely mind-boggling amount of data. It's enough to hold tens of thousands of hours of high-definition video. It's basically a vast digital library of the city's day-to-day life. So, okay, the system can store an unbelievable amount of footage. But so what? What does it actually do with all of that information? Because, just recording everything isn't really what makes a city smart. And this is where the real intelligence kicks in. The hardware is just the box. The software is where the magic happens. The video management system, the video analytics, and the facial recognition system, these are the programs that are constantly sifting through all that video. They're programmed to automatically spot certain events, identify patterns, or even recognize faces, turning all that raw video into useful, actionable information. So we've got the eyes, and we've got the brain, but how in the world do they talk to each other? Well, for that, you need a nervous system, and that's what this is, the unseen network and power grid that connects every single piece, bringing the entire system to life. You don't actually see this part of the system when you're just walking down the street, but it is absolutely essential. Without this hidden backbone, the cameras are just, they're just cameras, and the servers are just boxes sitting in a room. The network is what makes it all one unified system. And believe me, this backbone is built to be incredibly tough. It uses all these different network switches to manage the flow of data, with high-speed fiber optic and Cat6 cables acting as the data superhighways. And to make sure it is always on, the whole thing is backed up by 2 powerful, uninterruptible power supplies. What does that mean? It means even if the city's main power grid fails, the system's eyes stay open. So we have the eyes, the brain, and the nervous system. The final piece of our anatomy puzzle is the human interface. This is the control room, the nerve center, where human operators are watching over the system and making the critical decisions. And inside this command center, the operators have a main PC workstation with a user-friendly interface to manage everything. But the real centerpiece here is a huge 4x4 matrix of displays. We're talking a giant video wall. This lets them watch dozens of camera feeds all at the same time. And for serious emergencies, they have 2 dedicated panic buttons to trigger an instant response. So let's put it all together now. This slide breaks down the entire data journey beautifully. It's just 4 steps. First, the 38 cameras capture the video. Second, the network transmits all that data. Third, the servers and software process it. And finally, human operators monitor and respond. Capture, transmit, process, monitor. That's the whole system right there in a nutshell. And get this isn't some futuristic plan or concept on paper. This IP-based video surveillance system in Bareilly City went live on December 18, 2023. The blueprint we've just spent all this time decoding, it's now a fully operational reality. Which brings us to a final pretty big thought. We've just broken down the what and the how of one city's surveillance plan, but as powerful systems just like this one become a standard feature in all of our cities, they start to raise much bigger questions. Questions about the why and, maybe more importantly, what's next? What new possibilities does this kind of technology unlock for us, and what new challenges does it create? That's a conversation I think we're all going to be having as our cities get smarter and smarter.